Hello. Hello, everybody. Happy... What day is it? I don't even know what day it is. Monday. It's Monday. Yes. Very good. Well done, Dan. Oh, do. Hopefully everyone had a lovely weekend. And now we're back. Hey, Andrea. Afif, good to see you. Graphic Idea. Chemist Gazel. Hey, Raquel. How you doing? We're gonna do design review today because it's been a minute, and so we've got a bunch of work. Very the people have very kindly submitted. I can't even speak today. Goodness me. Before we start, slight tangent. Has anyone been watching the Night of the Seven Kingdoms? It's the set in the Game of Thrones universe. Me and Poppy did episodes 1 to 5 yesterday. They're only like half an hour, so they're shorter. But has anyone been watching it? No spoilers, obviously. We've got episode 6 tonight, the final one. Fighting but better. Oh no, have you been unwell? He's still going. Oh, I'm just so tired at the minute. I'm watching old movies. Oh, life happening. Oh, it's meant to be a heart. I don't know if that. I'm not sure what that looks like really. Oh, it looks like it could be like an arrowhead, like a really nice arrowhead. That's meant to be a heart. Oh yeah, life can suck sometimes, can't it? Just got to keep going. I did my best, Raquel. that's the best heart I got. It could have gone worse. It could have looked more like a potato. Right. Okay, let's open this up. How am I going to do this? We'll do it in Photoshop. Some of these are JPEGs and PNGs, so I can't really edit them, but I can scribble on them. And if anyone does want to submit their work for review, then we've got the design review submissions tab channel thing in the Discord. Or if you're a course member, just submit it anyway, and I'll review it. You get Dansky reviews on tap. Right, this one is by. Okay. Can I pronounce this? I'm gonna butcher this. I'm so sorry. Snarlata Mitra. Snarlata Mitra. Mitra Snarlata. It's different in some countries, isn't it? Some countries are they go read right to left and left to right. So I don't know. Anyway, those are two names. Which order they go in, I've got no idea. So Mercer Law. So I have no context here, so I'm gonna go with a law firm. And actually, I think this is really cool. This feels very strong. It feels very authoritative. It feels confident. It's clearly, you can see the M in there. I'd love to understand a bit more about this. Unless you guys can see something in here I can't. My brain was like, ooh, I wonder if there's like a secret L in there somewhere. There's something about it that just makes sense. You know, you've got the very intentional hard edges, sharp edges, nothing round, nothing playful. We mean business. We're not messing around here. Maruti Suzuki logo. Ooh, what's that? Maruti Suzuki. Oh, what, the car logo? Now, the first thing that stands out to me is the gradient. So this is the sort of logo that if you had this like hot foiled onto a letterhead, or you had it like spot varnished or something, it would look so nice, and because you'd have like this part be shiny or reflective, it would look so flippin' slick. But as part of the logo design, I wouldn't necessarily show that per se. If you wanted to have like the sort of gold and whatever color palette, you know, gold and white, gold and black, that's cool. But I just would avoid presenting sort of gradients like this on a logo. Unless you're going for like in the sort of case where you want it to be like, I want this to look gold. So I'm not just going to get it printed in like a gold with a gold finish. I want the logo to actually look like real gold, for example. In which case, a simple gradient's not going to cut it. You've got to have, well, it depends on the type of gold as well. So sometimes you might have a gold text that's got like a more sort of matte gold. So the transition between different shades of gold is quite subtle. But then when you add the bevels and the embossing and everything around the sides, I don't know why I'm drawing around the sides. When you add all this stuff, oftentimes that would be a lot more reflective. So then you would have huge shifts in color. So you'd have like the gradient would be very, very extreme. I think we've done gold before. Maybe we should do an entire stream on gold. Because it's quite easy to simulate very reflective gold and less reflective, more matte finished gold. But then you can use those two together. I don't know why I scribbled on that. I'm terribly sorry. But yeah, sort of at the moment, the gradient, it just ruins, it just cheapens the whole thing, I think. The same here. We've got this gradient, we've got a radial gradient. So I just think present that in a single color print. I think it makes sense. Single color, this works. You could have Mercer one color and Law another color if you wanted to. If you did want to have like a more diverse palette, or you could, I don't know what this bit here is. I'm not sure if this is just like a, I can see the M in it. I'm not sure what, like I don't know if you guys can see something I can't. But, you know, if you wanted to introduce, I don't know, say another color. I'm just going to lop this off here. Boom. Oh, that was a terrible job done. You could introduce another color here. So you could color this something else, like a blue, navy blue, something contrasting that would complement the gold nicely. I don't know. But like just to show you actually, if I can get a quick selection of this. Yeah, what colors could we go for just to mock this up? Oh, yes, Photoshop. You wouldn't let me down. Let's just try this. We'll try a couple different colors. Hey, Kyle. Yeah, let's go for something like that. And then we'll just pick a different color. I mean, the good thing is if you do take the time to create like, you know, the gold effect of your dreams and you spent ages making it, you can just save it as a style. So you can save this new style so you never have to do it again. So if you do sink the time into doing it, definitely save it as a style as well. You know, let's just try this. And obviously if you're doing this like print, you might do it with Pantone colors as well. It kind of depends. Yeah, okay. I mean, I could screw around with colors here all day. It really depends what you're going for. Or if you didn't want to do that, let's just look at it with black and white as well. You know, it does work. I think from a typographic point of view, oh, where's the original? There we go. Yeah, something about this font here. I know a lot of sans serif typefaces are very similar, but something about this just feels like an afterthought. I don't know. Maybe there's a bolder font that's either slightly bolder, or there are definitely some that have like the sharp M. So you see you've got the very sharp M characteristic here. Could you get an M that is a similar shape? I mean, the answer is yes, because I've seen them, but like an M that is maybe like that. I don't know, like a bit more, an M that's similar to this, and then a lot of the other letters would be fine. Maybe a W that would be equally as spiky as the M. In a bolder weight, I don't know. And the spacing as well. So at the moment, this is like the stacked version. At the minute, I feel like the mark is just too overpowering compared to the text, and the spacing as well. This just feels too tight. One thing you can do, this isn't a rule of, this is like more of a guide, is if we go back to this version, we'll strip out the color. And we will do this. Sorry, I've got to butcher the file just so I can do what I need to do. Yeah, so one thing that you can do, you can use the rule of thirds, lots of fancy things like that. Sometimes it's just as simple as just taking the height of the text, and then you can use that to space things out. So there is some sort of methodology behind it, rather than just like, oh, I'm just going to pick a random distance. Especially if you're just starting out. Like if you've been doing this for a while, you can start to rely on your eye a bit more. This is the stacked version. And this is fine, but when you're presenting your logo, you've got to absolutely have an answer for landscape formats. Because if you try and put this in a website header, it ain't happening, right? And so then the client's immediately going to go, ooh, I wonder how this would look. And then they've started thinking. And as we've talked about before, clients thinking's bad. Because then they come up with ideas. Crazy, wild ideas. So you need to have an answer for the inevitable question, how does it look in a website? And actually, this looks pretty damn... This does look really good. Obviously, we've stripped out the styling and the gold and all that stuff. But I feel like, you know, this sort of mark, it's got to be scalable as well. So when I shrink this down, look, this is super tiny now. I don't know if you can see that on I mean, if you're watching on a phone, probably not. But I can still clearly make out that mark, and that's probably smaller than it would be in a browser at the top of a website. So that's usually like a good sort of benchmark for, is this logo scalable? In this case, I'd say yes. You've got your favicon as well. Yeah, so in terms of, I don't really understand the design here. Like I said, I can see an M. That's all I'm kind of getting from it at the moment. But it is scalable, so it checks that box, which is good. And spacing here as well. Again, if you are guessing spacing, I would just pick the sort of average width of a character. So we'll go for like the C, and just use that as a bit of a guide. You know, so if you're really not sure, use like the average character width to space the mark from the type, and then try and center it as well. So we don't want this hanging too low or hanging too high necessarily. Try and balance it where you can. Obviously there's like exceptions, so you know, you might have a design that you do want to sit flush, and that is intentionally part of it. Or maybe this becomes more like an M, and you actually, I'm just sort of spitballing now, get rid of that. I mean, I wouldn't do this personally. I think it works really well, but yeah, and obviously the weight difference is totally wonky there. But yeah, so because we're looking at this in black and white as well, this is a really good way to design for most of the process, because you get to see if the raw concept is good. You know, adding colors and gradients and all that fluffy stuff doesn't, you know, if the core concept isn't solid and doesn't work as a single color print, which a lot of clients are gonna need, because it's like cheaper to print in black and white, and you know, there's a whole host of different applications where a single color might be required. At least we know that the core concept is sound. Exactly, Raquel. Yeah, simple, memorable, trustworthy. Exactly. Yeah. I wish I understood a bit more behind the concept here, because it looks very much like a legal law centric logo. Like I say, strong, confident, serious. No messing around. What if we want to make it like gold foil? That's a really good question. You could mock it up for the client, but you wouldn't. I mean, obviously, you're not going to gold foil everything. So the logo, you would design the logo where it's going to be used across social, across print, across all this stuff. And the logo would have a color palette and all these bits and pieces. You know, if you're putting together like a brand identity, the gold foil or the spot varnish or all this stuff, that's more of a finish. So the logo colors might be, I don't know, well, the colors we did before, that sort of blue and like a sort of coffee goldish color. But then maybe for an event, they're handing out a brochure and they want to make a good impression. So they say to the printer, can you hot foil the logo and actually have it shiny and gold and lovely and sparkly? So that doesn't really change the palette, any of that core stuff. We're just getting a finish to sort of bring this out in a different way, if that makes sense. We're in Photoshop because this is a JPEG and I need to hack it to pieces. I do encourage people to submit with like raw files, Illustrator and Photoshop, because then I can open it up and make changes live. But sometimes I just gotta get in there and slice it all up. For the spacing method, that's what I usually do. Yeah, simple and good enough. Yeah, I think there's a few different ones out there, but especially if someone is, I mean, I say if someone's getting started, like you can use this if you've been designing for 10, 20 years. But if you are new to design and you're just, you know, trying to think, how do I space this? What should I? Yeah, in Discord. Yeah, if you go into the Discord group, there's a channel called Design Review Submissions. Rather than just completely shooting in the dark and guessing, at least you've got some fallbacks now that you can use for spacing. So yeah, it's good. Gets quite a lot right there. You know that a lot of logos do get wrong. So flexible, scalable, and generally fit for purpose, I think. Nice. Thank you for sending that one in. Oh, that was nice and easy. Good morning from snowy New Jersey. 2 feet already. Ah, you got snow. I want snow. How about an Affinity file? We're going to stick with the Adobe stuff. We're going to stick with Adobe just because I know it inside out. Photoshop, Illustrator, it's just a lot easier for me. If you want to submit your design as a JPEG or PNG or whatever, I can open it up and I can hack it to pieces in Photoshop and scribble all over it and do what I normally do. Right, where's the next one? Let's mark you green. Oh, this is really cool, actually. This is more... I don't know what this is, actually. It's more like some sort of cover for something. It's flipping cool. It's really cool. This is like more abstract and creative, artsy. So I don't really have too much to say on this from a design point of view. I can clearly see it's a person. They've got what looks to be like a crown of flowers on them. I love the colors. I mean, you could say some of this is quite hard to read. It's a very difficult to read font, and then you've got this text here kind of covering a lot of it. Flora, although I love the fact that you got the flower integrated into that. Beautiful mind. I mean, it gives me like album cover vibes, but I don't know if they're normally square, aren't they? Artwork for that sort of stuff. Yeah, the legibility of the word neuro, like, I mean, I've got to be honest, the file name did help me up here. So without that, if you said to me, what is this? I'd have to literally zoom in and go, okay, what? Okay, is this an E or is it an A? Or could be an A. This could be two I's versus a U. I like it because it's stacked and it's organized and spaced well, and it's like a, yeah, just a monospaced font, so all the characters are the same width, which is nice. So I like it. I'm just fine. I'm struggling with it. And it's all super small as well. Beautiful mind. I don't know if this is like for an album or something, but it's so tiny and so close to the edge. I would just shift all of this up here, and if you could make that beautiful mind text bigger. I feel like beautiful mind is sort of quite relevant for the theme with the flowers being kind of on the mind, and it's just so small down there out of the way. I barely even noticed it, to be honest, especially because this neuro text is just shouting so loud. Also, that's a really cool signature. I like that. Yeah, that was that was my thoughts as well, Raquel. Like, yeah, a few bits of feedback around here, but just, yeah, pretty beautiful, artistic. I do have a list beforehand. Yeah, and I've got a bunch that I'm going to work through. But I'll be honest, if you submit something that piques my interest, then I'll open it. In fact, yeah, go on then. Wonky Builder. Right, this is a WPT engineering logo. I put lots of effort to make it look like a sticker with a drop shadow, and I like the font a lot. Okay, right. Go on then. Go on then. We'll do it now. Okay, right. I have questions. What is this logo and who is it for? What do they do? So obviously WPT engineering. What type of engineering is it? Give me as much information as you can about the company, what they do, what they sell. I put lots of effort to make it look like a sticker. Okay, why like a sticker? That's my first question. And I like the font a lot. Okay, regardless of why you like the font, why did you pick it? Was it that you like it, or was there more of a reason in relation to the brief? So yeah, who's the company? What do they do? Why is it like a sticker? Why did you choose that font? Those are my 3 questions. Hey, Fox. And I can obviously see the logos mocked up on an image. Baños toilets. It's Baños toilets. I know in Spanish it's aseos, so I don't know if it's not like Portuguese or something. I don't know. Raquel. Hey, Paul. Yes. A few people are saying baños can be toilets. Okay. That's interesting. Not is toilets. It can be toilets. What else can it be? Benhos tambien. I probably butchered that. I'm sorry. Please don't hate me, Portugal. I'm learning. It's very much a fun project. Okay, well, if it's a fun project, I think you've accomplished that mission. The reason I asked lots of questions, sorry to throw questions at you, is because the way I would typically work is I would start the process with the client with a bunch of questions. They give me loads of information, and then I can structure all their answers into a design brief. And the reason that that's important is because when I'm then presenting my work to them, and if they come back with certain bits of feedback or whatever, usually we can kind of direct that feedback back to the brief that they helped write by answering the questionnaire. Does that make sense? So there is a fundamental reason why, because then those answers that come from the client, that's why I was asking all those questions, is because I feel like as a designer, you've got to like what you do. You've got to like it, right? It sucks when you have to do something you don't like. So I feel like you should be able to say, I like it, or I love my design that I've created. But it also fits the brief. It's got to do those two things. At least for me personally, I don't want to be sending off work that I hate. But it's got to be fit for purpose as well. And I'm not sure what the mock-up behind is for, but when we're talking engineering, this logo doesn't give me engineering vibes. I think the font, I mean, it's a lovely font. Don't get me wrong. I do like it as well. But in terms of engineering, it makes me think of industrial, mechanical, less flowing, connected lettering, sharper, harder edges, angles. Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm thinking engineering, I'm not necessarily thinking, like letters flowing in this way. And so I think that's where choosing suitable typefaces is just as important as well. I'm trying to think what type of logo this. My initial thought was like a radio station with, I think, the WPT FM. It feels too fun to be an engineering logo. Not that engineering can't be fun, but do you know what I mean? A few people commented on the date as well. Yeah, you can include, sorry, the month. It was the month, wasn't it? So you can include the year of establishment. Sometimes logos do that. They'll kind of nestle it in somewhere. Or if you've got like a badge, they'll work it in, established one side, the year on the other. The month, yeah, you could probably take that out. And the angles as well. Do you know what this feels like? The way you've set this up, it feels more like this would sit as like a really interesting header at the top of a poster, where you can have a big title, you can play around with angles and things like this. When you start angling text, especially like this sort of subtext here and this on an angle in a logo, I think the slant does look a little bit off, but angles can be a funny one, because then where the logo sits within kind of the different use cases, like in a website header, for example, things don't always sit neatly. I don't know, maybe that's a personal thing. Let me try and show you what I mean. If I grab it, we'll just quickly try and mock this up. So this is going to be a home page, and this isn't to say that you shouldn't ever use angles. Take this with a massive dose of salt, but this is just something to be mindful of. So let's give it a grey header now so we can see what we're doing. So this is the best website you've ever seen. Just, oh, that's the wrong thing. There we go. We're going to paste this in now. So remember the last logo we looked at? We're talking about scalability. So we've scaled this down now. This is website size. So some of it is still legible, some of it isn't as much, but you can see what I mean with the angles. My brain wants to straighten this out. It's less noticeable if it's smaller, but when you start to get quite close to the edge, the angles can then conflict with the sort of horizontal or vertical nature. I mean, you could have the, you know, oh yeah, it's just, there's something about it. It's definitely fun. This feels like the sort of styling that I would probably put on text at the top of a poster for like an event or something fun. It, like I said, I like the gradient, the way it runs through. I like the white stroke. It feels like a sticker. You've nailed that aspect, but I think it's too fun for engineering. And the background behind doesn't really match engineering either. Like maybe we could just mock one up. Is this helpful? Hopefully this is helpful. I really need a party. Oh, Raquel, just want to give you a hug. Yes, you're right. The P does look a little bit smaller. Yeah, so Raquel says the font's lovely, but it doesn't go with engineering. We're almost at 1 million. Yay. Oh, it's not really an engineering thing. That's just the name. Think Disney and their design company. Okay. Gives me fast food vibes, playful. Maybe a toy store. Yeah, it's definitely got that sort of playful vibe. I think when you make things like something like a sticker as well, you are inevitably going to have like a more playful vibe. And you've got the, do you remember what I said about the Law logo? There was no fun, pure seriousness, sharp edges. This has those sort of rounded curves in lots of places, which does make things naturally a bit more fun and playful. I mean, look at this. Look at this like T over here. This T is having the best time. This letter T, oh my goodness. Could not have more fun over here. T is living his best life. That's what I see when I look at that. He's like, hey. So yeah. So I get what you're saying. Sort of, not really. It's engineering, but sort of not. I think that's where clarity. I get this was a fun project, but for your next project, what I would do is I would try and come up with a fictional brief. Even if you ask ChatGPT, say, hey, I've got this idea in mind, can you write me a fictional brief? And then you design to meet that brief. So you can go through the brief and go, yep, check. Because that's what I would be like measuring the success of a logo against, is I'm looking at that brief going, have I done what I set out to do? Do you know what I mean? So yeah, lots of thoughts there. But anyway, hopefully that is helpful. It's quite silly, but that stands for Wonky Penguin Tech. That is very silly, and I love it. I mean, it's a memorable name, Wonky Penguin Tech. I mean, I'm starting to learn that there is a bit more of a fun element here. I think the word engineering was making me think, oh, this is serious. But it, yeah. The date is the start of the Discord server. Aww. Hey, Kaya. And Moosh! Ding dong! Yeah. If you go to Dansky.com, I'll show you where the Discord is. Go to Dansky.com. Oh, we could do a segue into courses. Yay! I have an Illustrator course and a Photoshop course. Yeah. They're really good. They'll teach you everything that I know about design, logos, models, mock-ups, graphics. I might as well speed run these while I'm here. I need to get better at showing all this stuff off. So yeah, we do product photography, retouching. Sorry, impromptu segue. Yeah, photo manipulation. We even draw penguins. We do typography. We do product mock-ups. We literally, these courses literally cover everything. We do web and UI. We do illustration. God, what can't you do in Photoshop? We even do animation. So, oh, that's so fun. Anyway, what was I here for? Sorry, I got distracted. I distracted myself with the promotion. This is the Concord. So if you scroll down up here, we've got this section, courses, coaching, community. If you want one-to-one, I do that here. But the community, click on that. And then just sign up here. And you will get a link to the Discord. End of promotional segue. Right, thank you, Wonky Builder, for sending that one. Very cool. How was that, Andrea? Do you like that? Smooth. Yes, I would. Yeah, try your hand at a poster. Something where you could use that type of more fun lettering, and send it over. When you send it over, like, give me as much information as you can, because those will be my first questions. Who's it for? What do they do? And then why have you done what you've done? Without sounding accusatory. Right, let's see if I can open this, because this next one's pretty hefty. Hopefully no font issues. Oh, yes. Nice. All right, hopefully my head isn't... Hang on, my head's in the way, isn't it? Let me... There we go, that's a bit better. Oh, thank you, Raquel. So, BidGrid. Right, the BidGrid logo is designed to reflect the platform's core function of tender bidding. In logo, we incorporated a clean line icon of an auction hammer symbolizing tender-related business. The minimalist design ensures modernity and digital clarity, while the balanced word mark complements the icon for a cohesive brand identity. Okay, so we've clearly got an auction hammer that probably has a very specific name that I'm not aware of. And they've simplified it into this. I mean, I love this sort of style. This is nice as well because it's a very non-verbal way of communicating your process. So when you see all these circles and lines and guides, as a non-designer, I think it communicates things like precision, attention to detail, and you haven't even got to say a word. You know, almost like the blueprint to a house. If I'm getting a house designed, maybe one day, life goals, who knows? And I'm looking at a very technical blueprint. I'm going, oh yeah, like nodding my head, like, oh yeah, everything seems to be in order. This is very good. I got no flipping idea. It looks very clever. It looks very technical. It looks like the people that did this know what they're doing. And I feel like there's an element of that with people looking at a logo presented in this way. You can just, you take away that there's been some thought and consideration here, which that's never a bad thing. Nice palette. We've gone completely blue, dark blue to light blue in layman's terms. We've got the mark and the type here. What do you think about the sizing of the hammer I don't know the name of? Fancy auction hammer. Is it a gavel? Or is that the same? Is that a court? Is it the same type of hammer? Might be the same. I'm going to go gavel. I don't know if it feels like maybe it needs to be bigger. I don't know if Don't know. It feels like it needs to be a smidge bigger. This one feels fine. This one feels a bit more, but here it feels quite small up against the text. Do you think? Yeah. You both think bigger. Just not a lot, just a pinch. I say just a pinch bigger, just a wee bit. Yeah, this is nice, and again, this is why we did the side by side version for Mercer Law. You know, because you have these different applications here, and this would work. I don't know if they've done an app icon. I mean, yeah, many of these could be an app icon, or you could just have the gavel on its own. Okay, so that's the logo. Two main versions. Variation. Right, what am I looking at? The BidGrid logo will be used in both monochrome and gradient forms of colors. Just be careful when printing gradients. They've got the black and white version here, which is good. Works in that format. When using gradients for logos, it depends on your printer and your printing process and who you're working with. So just make sure you get a proof before they go and print that logo 10,000 times and the gradient comes out wrong. These gradients can be a funny one sometimes. The text, bid, and grid will be in different colors, giving more details about the nature of business. Yeah, so I'm guessing they've got light and dark versions here reversed out. And they've got different gradients. I feel like I can sort of see a gradient in the text, but I don't know. It's hard to tell. Actually, we could just click on it, Dan, because we've got the PSD. Oh, no, I can't. No. Okay. Yeah, if there's a gradient in the text, I don't know. I might be tempted to get rid of that. I'm not sure. And then this version. Yeah, I don't know whether it's worth just having this one as the core logo. This is the main logo. And then if you have it on a dark background or a dark blue like this, you just reverse it out in white. Same as this one. Rather than then choosing and having a different color for the gavel. Do you know what I mean? I feel like the gavel, these should be the colors for it. Or else white or black. Picking different colors for a reversed out version. I don't know. I don't know if that sort of dilutes the sort of recognizable nature of the brand a little bit. Doesn't need a gradient. Well, no, that's the other thing as well. That's the other thing. And probably honestly what I would do as well is I probably would just go either one color or incorporate the two colors into this and separate them somehow. Yeah, I mean, I probably would lose the gradient personally. It loses strength and it can look muddy on print. It is. I think it is great. I think you're right. I think one thing to be mindful of is the gaps between the different parts of the gavel. So for scalability, I would just zoom out and maybe you just increase that by a few pixels. Just spread it apart a little bit. In fact, no. The spacing's off. Never do this. This in a design that is essentially symmetrical but on an angle. The gap here, the white gap here, and the gap here should be 100% exactly the same. It might be that it is the same. I think what's happened is it probably was designed the same, but then they've scaled it down as a raster graphic, and it's now in that scaling process. It's thrown one side off by a pixel. I'd be very surprised if the original vector. We're about to find out. We're going to find out. That's a good point. Logos solve problems, not get us more. No! No! Oh, da, da, da. Oh, no, 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 no. These 100% should be the same. They should 100%. If your design is going to be simple and symmetrical, you have to make sure that it's flipping bang on. So yeah, that would be the first immediate thing I would fix. Oh, I can't unsee it now. And I think it goes into, if you're going to go to this length to show, like, look all the detail I've gone into, you've got to be spot on. You can't be slightly off. Font family, outfit. Okay. Yeah, it's a good font. It's a good font. It's very modern. It's got quite a lot of weights. I do like it, actually. I use it sometimes. I like this mock-up as well. This is good, the favicon. Yeah. And I think it does work. If you fix the spacing and just make sure the spacing is wide enough and everything, I think this will work really well. Really well in terms of scalability. So semi-bold. Outfit light. And I think the dual weights work as well. This bit's confusing me here. I don't know what I'm looking at. This makes sense. I don't know why the logo's over here in just the light version. I think if you are demonstrating the font family, I would just write something else or do letters, or I don't know. I'm not sure what the BidGrid sketch. I don't really get this because it is different to what I'm seeing. Yeah, this doesn't even need to be here. This doesn't need to exist. I feel like this is a presentation that that would be sent to a client, and the client doesn't need to know this. It's just too much information. Show the alphabet in a heavy bold version or whatever. Show it in a lighter version so they can kind of get that there are different weights, and then write a bunch of weights. There's 10 different weights or 12 or whatever if you want to, but we don't need to see all of this. This is something a designer would probably make more sense of. To a client, it's just like, what's this? Up it. Discord link, Dansky.com. Yes, I think the gradient as well is the favicon, and the gradient is just complicated in that. I feel like if you space the gavel elements apart and then you go with probably like a single color like we talked about and a white gavel, that would be your contrast sorted out right there. In fact, we could probably demo this now. So this bit here should be small on screen, which is correct because it would be small anyway. Right, I'm going to just quickly try and move this over manually. And then we'll space them a bit further. Try and get it as correct as I can. Yeah, that's pretty good. And we'll change the color to white. Bring it in. Paste it in as a smart object. And you should be able to see a difference here when we go solid color versus lots of gradients at a small size. And this palette's really nice. This blue, the dark blue, and then the lighter blues, they complement each other really well. You see the difference in terms of scalability? That's actually quite big. But we can still get, it's still bigger. You see the difference there when you have more contrast, less gradients, just boom. And it still fits within the theme of everything. You know, even if we went with the, let's go with this one. It's quite a nice blue. Do you see what I mean? You just get a lot more clarity at that smaller size by simplifying things. Oh, I just thought you said, Paul, sorry. Favicon might be a better flat, no gradient. Yeah. Okay. And we could see that in action. These are cool. These are great. If you're going to do what looks to be like a business card, I would do a front and back rather than the same side twice. And oh, and for this one, yeah, this is really cool. I love the way it's coming in from the side of the presentation, but definitely mock this up. Don't just put in nonsense. Make up an address or something that looks, yeah, like, yeah, you've got, yeah, employee at BidGrid. That's great. Just add a number in there, even if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It just feels a bit, and a photo. Put a photo in there of someone, because it helps sell that idea even more. This, yeah, the same with headed paper here. You know, just instead of lorem ipsum and all this stuff, add a. I mean, you could even use ChatGPT for this, which would be great. Yeah, to make up characters, get a letter to do with something to do with their business. It just shows that you've gone like if their business is to do with, what is it, online auctions, get ChatGPT to generate a letter, fill it in, brief it on the company, and then say, look, I'm trying to mock up a letterhead here. Could you help me out and just write a letter from, you know, Bobby Brown at the company. Bobby Brown is sending an email to Susie Salmon Fingers, and and the letter needs to sound like it's a legitimate letter from. I'm sorry, Andrea. I don't know what happened. I don't know who Susie Salmon Fingers is. Dear Miss Salmon Fingers. Idiot. Just make it sound believable. It's going to be very, very small, but it's just one of those little details that looks, and then make up a signature as well for Bobby Brown and blah blah blah. It's just that sort of detail goes a long way. I don't know what this is over here. I'm not entirely sure what's happened. So that needs fixing, whatever it is. Envelope, this is cool. And I love the two-tone color here. You can see this palette is so nice, the whites and then all the blues. Susie, why do you have salmon fingers? Oh God, no. Why do I feel like we're going to get salmon fingers in the Discord? Oh dear. And a bigger line weight between them. Yes, it does feel very tight, doesn't it? I feel like this is the sort of letter, at least separate it into 2 paragraphs. Like, come on, Bob. Susie's got to read this, and it's just like, if I got a letter like that, I'd be like, oh God, that's a lot of words. You can tell I'm not much of a reader, can't you? But yeah, just break it up, make it a bit more digestible, space those lines out, bit of breathing space. But yeah, in terms of color, and it clearly has a visual identity. I think it just maybe in a few places with the gradient just needs reworking, tightening up a little bit, simplifying with the gradients. They just need to maybe calm down a bit. Maybe use them in a few key places. Lovely palette. And the actual presentation is really nice as well. I love the way that this is very like structured. This is interesting as well, having the section titles on the side. So it's visible, but it's not intrusive. And they're one word as well, so I can read it. I don't have to tilt my head and go, what does that say? Yeah, I like how they play with scale as well. So over here, you've got the giant... I don't know what this circular thing is. I would get rid of that. That doesn't need to be there. If I could select it. Yeah, you can just go, because then I can see the side of the phone. I see the mock-up. It's quite a nice way of playing with it. You know, flat version, real version. And I like this UI element as well, like a floating browser tab. I don't understand that. And this needs streamlining. Like I think Paul said, just show it in 2 or 3 different weights. Yeah, I don't know what this element is doing. It's just getting in the way. Unless there is like a version of the logo that has that and then it has the logo mark in the middle, which would look quite cool. Maybe that is like a tertiary version that you can use, like a badge or an emblem. That would make sense. But then it would belong up here, not just stamped over things. I've already got enough to look at. But yeah, really, really cool. Yeah, thank you for sending that one in. That's Ankur Sharma. That was really cool to see. I like that. It's got a really sort of cool style to it as well. Go on then, let's have a look. You've piqued my curiosity. I'm applying for various companies, landing my first junior graphic designer job, and I was given a task to complete an existing design from the company Vix. So this is a real company, and recreating it and making a new flavor and then creating a new product, protein bar, minimalistic premium design. That's a lot of words. This is a case study that I had to complete in 4 days. Flipping out. Okay. Hope I land the job. I hope you do too. I hope you do too, man. Okay, so I could just... So if I just open up the Behance link, yeah? We can just see the whole project there, right? Hey, Roxy. Hello all, just joining in. Is it just me to see this logo rotated minus 45 degrees? Oh, the BidGrid, that one. Yeah, I think that was intentional, having it at 45 degrees. Right, let's have a gander. Let's have a gander. Okay, so is this the packaging that you've designed? So you've designed the 3 sets of packaging? So you've mocked up all this, have I got that correct? And then that's their existing logo. Hey, the English version. Thank you. Is this Czech? CZ, is that Czech? For this project, I was tasked by Teta Drogery to create packaging designs for 2 products, a protein bar and a line of teas. The goal was to create designs that are visually appealing, communicate the brand identity, and engage Tetas Target customers. Okay, so stick with the existing design and create new packaging for a tea with a future flavor, and that is exactly what I did. So at the top here, are these 3 new flavors? Or is it these 2 on either side of the originals, and then you've made your new flavor here? You throw as much information as me you can. So if you want to, I'm just sort of taking this all at face value. So your one's the red one, the green and the yellow. That is an existing product, and you've done this one. I mean, in terms of if that's the case, in terms of the mock-up, it fits right in with the set. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just scrutinizing everything. I'm just scrutinizing your future. Yeah, no, that's cool. Right, let's carry on reading. Right, so for the protein bar, I had to choose from 4 different styles, and I selected the minimalist sport style. Okay, in character, I'll design the protein bar have more creative freedom since spacing there. Typo, sorry. Wasn't necessary to follow any existing brand identity, which allowed me to be innovative while still maintaining readability, minimalistic design, and a forward-thinking approach as stated in the brief. Okay, so I mean, yeah, this is really cool. It's really cool to see. Yeah, I like how you've got the raspberries and the whatever these things are on the packaging, and then you've surrounded them as well on this little what would you call it? The thing it sat on. My brain's malfunctioned. Just a quick comment here on the typography. Spacing here, got a nice big gap. Over here, it feels too tight. So what I would do is I would finish the text about here. And don't have it set to force justify as well. I know it looks nice, but it makes weird word spacing. If you're doing an article or something with lots of columns, yes, but if not, no. Full stop here, slight typo. And the positioning is built on 3 pillars. Yeah, that feels like it needs another gap. Like if we're separating paragraphs with a gap, then this line needs to either nudge up or it needs to have a gap. And also the titles here, performance you can trust. Performance you can trust. Wait, what? It's the same title twice. I don't know if that's intentional, but it feels weird. Move the titles slightly closer to the paragraph below that they relate to. At the minute, it's balanced equally between this text above and text below. And if it relates to what's below it, it should, I think, in my opinion, be a little bit closer. So that that relationship between title, paragraph is a bit more clear. You could also increase the leading a little bit, so spacing between the lines, just a pinch. Also, the high quality. This is a setting you can turn on or off in InDesign and Illustrator. It's forced hyphenation. So when you've got a paragraph, where are you? Placeholder. There you go. This is something I would always turn off. So you go into the paragraph settings and you've got hyphenate. Sometimes that's turned on by default. I would just turn it off. So you don't get automatic hyphenation because it breaks words over multiple lines that makes it just kind of breaks the flow when you're reading it. Yeah, in terms of the full stops as well, I think the full stops should be consistent. So out of these then, which ones are the existing ones is which one's the new ones? That's one thing actually that I will just say is that I love that you're taking an existing brand and doing your version. I'm struggling to differentiate between what you did and what already exists. And I would love to see that differentiation just be a bit clearer between these are the existing ones, even if it's just got like a label on the image and this is the one I designed. And even if you've got any sort of, I don't know if you'd have sketches for packaging, but any early mock-ups, early concepts, this is like the finished product, which is it's great to see. But something that's really good to, oh God, that looks flipping good. Oh, I love one of them.
Me too.
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? Wait, yeah. Where the hell did you come from? What?
Hi.
What the hell? Sorry, Charles just invaded the chat. Yeah, I think as part of a case study, sometimes it's really good to show your process, show the thought process, even the bits that we might look at as designers and go, "Ah, it's a bit messy." Like that's one thing I've learned as well. Like I've worked with clients, I've done coaching calls with companies about design, and one thing that always consistently comes back that they love is when I show the process, when I'm walking through what I did, why I did it, watch out for this affects this. If we change that, it's gonna, that explanation of why, at least from my experience, I found people find it really interesting to listen to. And it's like, oh, wow, okay. And again, what it does by showing that process, however you do it, whether it's verbally or whether you do it as part of a case study, it's helping you build credibility and authority. You know, you're showing your process and you're basically showing that you know what you're talking about without having to say it. You don't really want to say it. You just show it by how you present your work. The protein bar doesn't exist. So there's no protein bar at all. You've just completely invented a protein bar. So both of these designs are things that you've come up with. Have I understood that right? Yeah, I think you might have mentioned some of this up here. So forgive me if I'm completely misunderstanding. So all these protein bars, none of these exist in the real world. Well, you've gone and made them look so flippin' tasty that I want one. So if all of these are your designs, I think they look amazing. I mean, I want one, like now.
Yeah, me too.
They look gooey and delicious. I might even go so far as to say sexy. Vanilla, peanut, and chocolate. What are you going, Leah? You going vanilla, peanut flavor, or chocolate flavor?
I think peanut.
You going peanut? I'm going vanilla. Vanilla all the way. 100%.
Either peanut or chocolate.
Well, you can't change your mind now. I'll tell you what, I'll share chocolate with you. We'll share the chocolate one.
Yeah. Wait, how are we going to get it?
I don't know. Oh, yes, that's a really good question. So how did you create the products? Was this like AI to generate the chocolatiness? All of the above, yeah. Kaya's like, what do you mean, choose? I don't understand. Why can't I have all three? In terms of does it look like a real product? 100%. I got to be honest, if I saw this in the local garage and they've got a lot of protein bars, this would really grab me. This is really well designed.
Oh, so badly.
So the fact that you've designed all the packaging, and I think you said you're going for your first job, that this is really strong. Even the little touches here, like you've got the black nails and it relates to the black on the packaging. Those sorts of little details are really good. Wait, what the hell is she doing? Hang on. she's holding the protein bar and she's eating it and dribbling it onto the packaging. Like, it's a good way to show the product and the packaging in a concise shot, but when I actually stopped and thought about it, I was like, hang on a second, she's dribbling over her protein bar. Yeah, I think yeah, I don't know what I think.
I don't know what I think.
Mm. Is that Susie Salmon Fingers? It could be. Yeah, I mean, for 4 days, this is insane. This is cool. Yeah, like you see here, you see you've got a lot more space on the right. It gives it like that breathing room. Oh, it just looks too good. Social media posts. Yeah, these are cool as well. This is interesting as well because you sort of start to see like more of a fun side to it. Protein that checks all the boxes. I think the smell bit I'd probably, I'm not sure. There's something about this that with having the sort of smell lines coming off of the chocolate, and I'm just going to be completely honest here, it makes me think of poo. Because that's what you would typically see on like a, maybe that's just me, I don't know, but that's, I would probably take them off and keep the fun to the arrow and the squiggle and that sort of illustrative style. Yeah, like this bit here as well, the smaller text. You want to try and avoid having one word on its own line. So protein bar made just for you. When you drop that last word down, it's called a widow, and you want to try and avoid them if possible. But this is cool. I love the way you've put the bar and it's kind of going up into the text. That's really cool. And you've got the pattern here in the background. Lots of fun shapes. It's like a lot more fun. It has a clear identity. So it's cool to see these post strategy. God, this is so much work.
Actually, I just got an idea of how we can actually get one of those in real life. We take a picture of it and then we put the picture into AI and say, how do we make this? That'll be amazing.
Okay, so timeline, stage 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I see. I didn't see that there. So yeah, you've got stage 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's like a progression. I think for this bit here, it's showing we're at stage 2. I feel like it's a bit disconnected from this bit above here. And I don't think it should necessarily have like a particular point in the process. So we're highlighting stage 2, for example, but we're just showing the whole process here. Unless this was all going to be stage 2 stuff, but I don't think it is. So you could do something like this, but I would just have like something here, like a circle, a line, a circle, a line, a circle, a line. And then you can have check marks in all the stages or none of the stages, but I wouldn't highlight a particular stage unless that was relevant to the where they are in position of in context of the presentation. You know, so if you were going to take me on a journey and this was stage 2 and then I would go down and then you'd highlight stage 3, that would make sense. But I think for this, all these stages are equal. We're just stating the process. So I think don't highlight a particular stage. Yeah, this palette is lovely. They complement each other really well. The black is really good as well. I feel like it introduces like it makes it feel like a little bit more luxury. Okay, so this is the flat version of the packaging. Another sneaky stream. Hey, Kerry. I think spelling mistake. I mean, you know, I would say everything's important, but I think it's, you know, if I were looking at this, I'd be far more interested in the creativity and the execution than a few typos. You know, if I'm not hiring, I wouldn't be hiring someone to be a copywriter. You know, that stuff's easy to fix. So yeah. Oh, cool. Right. Yeah, this is cool. So this is the flat packaging. How this is so good. Do you know, I feel like on some level I don't know, maybe I'd need to mull it over. I almost would have liked to have seen that earlier in the process. You know, maybe it doesn't make sense. I'm just sort of this is the first time I'm looking at this, but do you know what I mean? See where would it be? Just the flat version, and then here's with the technical bits and bobs around it, and then the full mock-up. Again, same thing as what we were talking about before. It just conveys attention to detail, precision. This has all been considered. Okay, takeaway. Designing this protein bar was a really interesting challenge, particularly when carefully choosing the design style to match the brand's identity and appeal to the target audience. I learned how important it is to align every visual choice with both functionality and consumer perception. Recreating the Vicks tea design and placing it alongside different flavors made this project stand out, and I'd love the opportunity to spend more time on this project to explore additional design ideas. That's what design is all about: learning and making decisions. Creating ideas into something that could be a physical thing. What I would do differently, I would definitely approach things a little differently by creating a simpler layout and removing the black, which makes it feel less premium. I would add vintage, saturated colors, and look for paper protein bar mock-ups since it's a tea company. Does this need to be in here? I don't know if that needs to be in there. It's almost making me think show don't tell. I find it interesting just reading it, but I'm almost like it's making me visualize things. I feel like takeaway, you could sort of almost have that as like a summary. Um, so instead of this is why I was just staring at this a minute ago, just something to consider. So I learned how important it is to align every visual choice with both functionality and consumer perception. I would reword that to not I learned, I would have it as a statement. So it is important to align. Do you know what I mean? So it goes from sounding like I've worked on this project and I've only just learned this, which is reinforcing that you're very sort of new to the industry, versus making the statement that it is important. Does that make sense? And I think even though this is your first job you're going for, so of course you're going to be a bit more green, you're going to be newer to the industry. When you talk about, you know, removing the black, making it feel less premium, the work that you showed me, you do know what you're talking about. You clearly know what you're talking about. And so I think, yeah, maybe that sort of statement language rather than I learned this would be something that would be more appealing to a potential employer. Does that make sense? That was just something that I noticed when I was reading it. Oh, okay, right. I'll shut up then. They told you to include that. Yeah, okay, cool. If they asked you to include that, then that's totally fine. Nice. Amazing. Boop. Yeah, really cool. Car flipping heck, 4 days. How was that working on that? Was that a lot of late nights? How did that feel? Was that like a lot of pressure? That's a pretty quick turnaround time. Yeah, congratulations indeed. Flipping congrats. In fact, you can have a little gong for that. Oh dear, the gong's a bit wonky. Hang on. Let me sort out the gong. There we go. Oh god, now it's falling over. Maybe I'll leave that alone. Yeah, yeah. I think the thing you've nailed as well is the fact that I'm sat here salivating. That is the biggest takeaway, because it just looks like a real product. I want that to be in the shop round the corner. Yeah, my tummy's rumbling now as well. And it's so cool seeing the flat design and then seeing it mocked up. No sleep. Yeah, I can believe that. Oh dear me. The sacrifices we make, eh? A lot of pressure, yeah, I bet. Especially if it's going for you said it was your first job, wasn't it? So obviously you wanna get the job. So did you forgive me if you already said this, did you have an interview? Have you had an interview in person? Or is it over Zoom, or like is it a physical position, or is it a remote position? Like what are you waiting at the moment? Sorry, I'm throwing questions at you left, right, and center. Are you just waiting to hear back now? I mean, I think it looks flipping excellent. The chocolate one is calling for me. I know, it's so gooey and drippy. Oh. Poppy's gonna come home and I'll just be there on the floor covered in melted chocolate. Oh dear. Dan, what are you doing? I don't know. I didn't get a call so far. It's been 20 days, but when I rang them, they told me they have a lot to go through, so I hope I'm not in the bin. That's fine. Yeah, don't call them again. If you've already given them a call and just said, "Oh, wait, what's going on?" That's fine. Don't call them again. You just, unfortunately, yeah, just got to sit and wait and play the waiting game. If they're a big company, yeah, I mean, actually, yeah, sometimes you do get a lot of applications to go through. Like, I remember being on that side of it, and you'd get tons of CVs, and oh, yeah, it's a lot. So if they're not just going through CVs, but they're going through, I guess everyone's submitted these sorts of presentations, right? If they're going through lots of presentations as well, then that might take some time. But fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Yeah. And if it doesn't happen this time, then what will be will be. I'm sure you will be fine. You will be just fine. Looking at this as well. How long have you been designing for? Like when would you say that you started? Yeah, I mean this stuff is super impressive. I'm gonna poke around at your other work now. Oh, let's go and be nosy. Oh, so you've got other stuff on there as well. So it's not just that one project. That's really good as well. And you've designed all this packaging. Like, are these illustrations something that you designed? Yeah, even like Raquel. I'm I'm looking at the dog biscuits now, thinking maybe I could just get away with a little nibble. Since 12 years old, designing my YouTube logo. Oh, nice. Wow, so you've been doing it a while then. Yeah, these mock-ups are... Oh, wow. Your mock-ups are excellent. I gotta say, these mock-ups that you do are very good. Do you need to do some live waffles? Okay, I think I'm turning into a waffle these days. All designed by me, made the name up, and designs. I think I gotta be honest. I think any company would be silly to overlook you. This is excellent. This one in particular as well really caught my eye. That's why I asked. These are flipping fantastic. These are so good. Yeah, you are unquestionably a very talented designer. And I think the fact this is the thing actually, the fact that none of these none of these products exist. I can't go out and get some Luffy tea, organic peach and lemon calming tea. None of these products exist, right? but they all look like they should exist. That's cool. I like that as well. A tea specifically marketed at sleep with the name Night Owl. Because, you know, teas with gingers and lavenders and that's nothing new, but to have a brand with this that's specifically like, hey, this is good for sleep. That's yeah, that's pretty smart. I got rejected all the time from junior roles. I got imposter syndrome. Oh yeah, I mean yeah, like Raquel said, don't give up. How many jobs have you applied for? Also, a big part is going to be interviewing. A massive part is how you present yourself when you interview. So it's not just about the quality of your work; it's how you come across in an interview. That is going to be the other 50%. And I say that as someone that sat on both sides of the interview desk. I love all these illustrations. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame you can't get any more detailed feedback. I guess sometimes it's just not worth their time, and they just say, "Oh, yeah, we chose someone else." Oh, what? So applied for 100, and you've had 3 interviews. What types of roles have you applied for? Have you applied for packaging specific roles, or have you applied for general design roles? Because your portfolio here at the minute to me is very much kind of packaging and then a bit of logos and branding as well. What's this one? This is what I want to see. This is what I want to see. The process. You finally learned to use the alignment tool in Illustrator. Nice. I think a lot of tools are difficult at first, but when they sort of click, there's no going back. Oh, this is cool. Hmm. I'm just trying to think of anything else that I can add that might be helpful. It's been a while since I've applied for a job, so angry beards. Yeah, so I think that the landscape nowadays is probably a lot different to what it was when I was a bit younger, looking for work. One thing I did though, I mean, I will say, once you get your first job and you get your foot in the door, it gets a lot easier. So getting your first job is sometimes the hardest, because a lot of companies will, you know, if you've got no experience in a corporate environment and you're up against candidates that have got 2 years or 3 years, and they put up a good portfolio as well, um, sometimes you'll get passed up for that, and it's not a reflection of the quality of your work. I mean, I'd be very surprised just looking at your portfolio. It might just be that they've got more experience than you, and for a company, they're like, we want someone who's going to be easier to integrate because they've got commercial experience. It's just the way it is. Check out the poster one. What's the poster one? These ones. That's cool. Oh, goosebumps. I remember that. I mean, there's no doubt in your creative ability. So I think if you're not getting hired, there's either other things that you could work on, or it's out of your control and it's just maybe a difficult time. You're up against people with pre-existing experience. Yeah, what do other people think? Because I mean, I'm looking at your work and I think it's just brilliant. It's fantastic. Not just the work itself, the way you present it is, the mock-ups and that are super clean, super high quality. There's no pixelation, no weird shadows. It's just very well presented. Where do you get these mock-ups, for example, if you don't mind me asking? Are these like computers, these Macs AI generated, or is that like a mock-up platform? Or you're strong at Photoshop? Yeah. How do you get experience when no company wants to hire you because you don't have experience? You just work on fictional. No, you don't lie. No lying. Lying's naughty. You just work on fictional projects. You work on fictional projects. Because if you showed me all these, I mean, honestly, what I would probably do, let's just say I'm interviewing, right? And I'm looking at this and I'm going, oh, yeah, this is cool. Well, no, let's pick a different one. Let's go for this one. Yeah. Don't mention it's fictional until the bottom or somewhere. Don't like, because for me looking at this, I'm just coming in and going, oh, wow, this is cool. Oh, yeah, Luffy Tea Project. Oh, yeah, cool. And I'm assuming it's real, you know? And I've done this before when I've been reviewing work. Dilshan comes to mind. He's someone else who mocks up stuff really well. We've reviewed his work quite a lot on the channel, and I'll get to the bottom of it, and then it'll be like, oh, that was fictional. Well, damn, because he'll be in the chat and I'll ask him, and I'm always surprised that it's not even real, because I went through the whole presentation thinking that it's real. But that is a really good way to get practice and to build a portfolio, is to just take existing brands. Even if they don't know you're working on a project, you could find a brand. You could find a brand that has packaging or a logo that is just awful or in complete disarray, and you do that case study built around that, and you show this is how it looked before. No, this is how it looks now. This is how I'd redesign it, and you kind of show the transformation from not great to this is my version. Yeah, and show that transformation with a real company, even though they've not paid you to do that work. Do you know what I mean? So it's not just a fictional company, it is a real company that you've looked at and gone, I could probably add some value here. That might be another way to go with the projects when you're sort of choosing what to do. Or maybe something big is waiting for you. Yeah, you don't know what's happening. There could be something right around the corner. Did you try freelancing? You have talent. Yeah, talent clear. Talent 100%. That's not the problem. And you could start on free. Yeah, I would maybe hop on some freelancing platforms while you're looking. Hop on some freelancing. That's what I used to do. I was probably in the industry for about a year before I started freelancing, and I did spend quite a few years working full time in the day, and then I would come home and work on my freelance stuff in the evening and at weekends. Like, it was a lot. But I managed to build up my own little roster of clients and then gradually increase my prices. And then when I decided to say, see you later, company, had enough of ye, I had a safety net to go to in a way, because I'd built up some clients and that. So it wasn't like I was leaping out into nothing. I'd built something quietly in the background. That's what I'm thinking. Something really good is there waiting. It's designed in Figma. Oh, nice. Check meme scheme. Oh God. I was like, what's Andrea laughing at? Is it flipping? Is it Susie Salmon Fingers? She's there. Susie, what are you doing? Oh no. That's definitely not AI, is it? That is a real genuine photo. I knew she existed. Susie Salmon Fingers. Good lord. Was waiting on this one. Yeah, we didn't have to wait long, did we? If you know, you know. Oh, Paul, we love you. Flipping heck. It's too much. Oh, dear me. Oh, Susie, what have you done? Goodness. Oh, anyway, thank you very much for linking your portfolio. That was an absolute joy to go through. And yeah, just keep going. Just keep going. Do not give up. Sometimes things take a bloody long time to come to fruition. And as long as you don't give up, you will be fine. Remember, quitting lasts forever. Pain is temporary, quitting lasts forever. Quitting is permanent. When you throw in the towel, that's when you lose. If you keep fighting, keep pushing, keep learning, keep trying different things, it becomes impossible not to win at some point. It just might take longer. And you said you're 22. You're 22. Like, oh, like I'm 40 this year. I'm 40 this year. So just enjoy it. Enjoy being 22. All right. What time is it? Oh my God, it's. We'll do one more. We'll do one more. That was a big one. You're very welcome. Hopefully that was. Hopefully all that waffle was helpful. Anyway. Oh dear. Are we talking age now? I think we are, Raquel. Age is wisdom. Age is wisdom. That's what I'm hanging my hat on. Oh, good. Yes. I mean, it should. You're very talented. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise, because if they do, they're full of shit. Right. DJI Osmo P3. This is an interesting one because I like this because it's got the product, and the product looks really cool. It's really big. And so we've got the DJI Osmo logo. So that is their logo. I'm guessing Pocket 3 as well might be the model. So that is the kind of font for the model. This is cool because it pulls out the different features. Right, I'm gonna get me red. We're gonna do some teacher style marking. Oh. Yeah, so the first thing that stands out to me is your spacing. So when you're aligning things within space, you see the spacing here, small, here big. It should be equal. So just shift all of this just down a little bit, not that far. It's too big a brush, Dan. But yeah, just move it down so it kind of sits centrally in that space. Same with this one, just nudge it all down. So kind of the bottom line is like there. The top one's fine. Do what you did here. This works. You see, space equals balanced. As well, stuff like this. Like I feel like if I were to draw a margin down here, it was meant to be straight. Yeah, you see this? Everything lines up, lines up, lines up, and then it goes a bit wonky here. So this kind of pushes out to the right, and then this pushes out to the left. You may as well just line it all up because all it does is just make more information look organized. There's a lot going on here and it just helps tidy things up. And then typically it looks like you've done it here on the other side. Add your margin there. So this is really cool. Even this text at the top lines up. And it lines up there. But then again down here it kind of flies out to the side. There's a lot of information here as well. I feel like this text here is totally pointless being down there because there's just so much going on here. And then right at the bottom, it's like, oh, by the way, the ultimate pocket-sized vlogging camera featuring a powerful 1-inch CMOS sensor and a 2-inch rotatable screen. It's like so small. So if that's the sort of thing that I guess you would want to put up here and shout out, but then you've already got it with these 3 points. So I would just get rid. Let's get rid of that. Oh, come on, draw a straight line down. There we go. I mean, does that need to go on there? Is anyone reading that? It's so tiny. And a lot of times when it comes to design, it's just stripping things out to make it easier. Like this bit at the top, action, futuristic, smooth, compact, creative. It's just words. It's not, it's just, no. So we're just going to trim that off because it's just adding more. If you want to talk about how it's compact and creative, include that in the copy that we've got. If that's the big selling point. In fact, hang on. I've got an idea. Actually, no, ignore my idea. I'm working with a flat image, so I'm just trying to think of the best way. So you can see we're just gradually going through and cleaning stuff up. Follow us on. I feel like this has become sort of pointless now. Follow us on. Like, does anyone look at that and think, oh yeah, I'm going to follow? Like, you just search. You're on the app. I'm like DJI. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll search it. Is anyone really going follow us on? Oh yeah, that's a good point. I'll open up Instagram and I'll give them a follow. Like I feel like nobody's doing that. So we're just going to get rid of that. I feel like it's just something that we've done for a long time. Whereas a contact number, This is different. Oh, I want to get in touch with them. I'll give them a call. There's their number. And I think as well, it's very different having follow us on and then all these icons versus saying like instead follow us at DJI, I'm just making this up, Osmo on Instagram. So this is just total made up nonsense. But you see what I mean? Like one of these is very, oh, that is bold. One of these is very specific. It's got the at handle. It's telling me where to go, but it's also got the at. So if I think, oh, I want to get in touch with them, there's a thing I can type in at DJI. I can't even spell it. DJI Osmo. Whereas follow us on, and then just a bunch of icons. I don't know. It just feels like wasted. It just feels like it doesn't need to be there. Whereas at least that one is like a specific, you're giving me the handle for the thing. It makes sense to me anyway. Shut up, Andrea. Don't laugh. I can hear you laughing. Order now. Yeah, again, I don't know. Maybe I'm just being grumpy, but no. On a website, having a call to action like that, I think definitely something you need, but I don't know. Just like, am I looking at the word order now and I'm thinking, yes? Probably not. I'm looking at the features and trying to weigh up if this is a good purchase. What else have we got? I don't know. It depends on, I think it depends on who the person is. I'm just looking at this from the perspective of this is kind of stuff that has always been done, and I think it's very easy sometimes to just keep doing the same thing without actually questioning if it's completely pointless or not. Yeah, I mean that's not. Maybe maybe we're similar like that, Kaya. Order now. No, I don't want to order now. Yeah, I mean, the exclamation mark wasn't helping. It's like all caps, exclamation mark, oi, order it now. And I feel like that with this, the product is the hero, right? The product is just so like it's the sort of the star of the show, if you like. I'd almost, I can't do this because it's not a PSD, but I would almost move the product. I would restructure the design a little bit. This empty space here, it's perfect for the little head of the product. So I would move the product so it sits like this. Obviously, this is terrible. I would move it and tilt it a little bit more. This bit here with the 3 green tags, that will still work, but it just means it's not cut off at the bottom. And you'll get the DJI logo in there as well. So it will have a little bit of a gap from the bottom. You'll get the brand, the Osmo, the DJI, and it will just fill that space a little bit more. And then what that means you could do is have your phone number down here and then your web address tucked over here. Obviously aligned to those margins. There's a lot of fonts going on over here, but I feel like some of this is their branding. So obviously that's the sort of stuff you might not be able to change. This is cool. I like this as well. 4K Ultra HD video recording. That's that's really good. Object. That's not the word I'd bold. I would instead, and I don't know how this works with the design, I would have tracking or auto tracking as your big bold and somehow try and fit that in. Auto tracking for faces and objects. Whereas having the word object massive, that doesn't really make sense. 3-axis gimbal, yeah, that makes sense as well. I've just basically scribbled everywhere. But it's just trying to take out the stuff that isn't really that important. Also the word viewing angle, center it under 180. Here it's technically centered under the whole thing, which technically makes sense, but visually it looks weird because of the degree symbol. Center it under the main mass, so under these 3 numbers here. I think that will look better than trying to center it to this, because you get this weird gap in here and it throws your alignment off. To me, it looks misaligned. So center it, always center to the main mass. No, yeah, you're right. You're right, Raquel. No need for visit website either. It's just we don't need that. It's like with a phone number saying give us a call. It's like, I know what to do with a phone number, but thanks for the prompt. You know, I'm not gonna try and email the number, am I? Like, and I think as well, even just this bottom section, cleaning up all this fluff down here, it just puts the focus on what actually matters. You know, which is these features over here and the stuff here. And it just lets the product just speak for itself. Less is more. I think when you start adding like order now and trying to cram in too much information, it just looks more desperate. I think when you just let the product sit there and just look magnificent, I think oftentimes it just looks cleaner, has less going on, and it's easier to convey information to someone without them looking at it and going, oh my goodness, that's a lot for me to take in. The website's enough, yeah. Yeah, you could do a QR code. You could, yeah, that's a good point. You could do a QR code as well. It depends where this graphic would be used. Like if it were to be printed and put up somewhere, and then just under the QR code have a scan me. I think a lot of people know it. I think QR codes these days are a lot more widely understood, you know, with restaurants, and you pay with them, and so you can have the QR code. And if it depends on your target audience, but if you're unsure, just put scan me underneath. But yeah, I think generally from a creative point of view, I think this is great. There's like a really subtle linear version of the Osmo word mark in the background, which is nice. There's a nice, I like the gradient. The gradient's really nice. Just the whole theme actually, from the colors. You've got the greens, the light greens, the blacks, or sort of almost black but not quite. Yeah, it's a really good design. I think it just needs some of the information stripping out, some of the stuff aligning more, margins left and right, and then aligning stuff here, and just maybe switching out some of the wording. And if you were to move the product up and to the right a little bit and angle it a little bit more, the angle will be quite interesting, to tilt it a bit more, because then posters, obviously they're just, you know, straight edge, horizontal, vertical, and then as soon as you introduce like an angle, it makes it a bit more interesting. And then you could actually get rid of this white banner at the bottom that is covering part of the product, and then just nestle the website and the phone numbers somewhere down the bottom. That's what I would do. And then the product could almost sit centrally within the whole graphic, and it would just be quite literally the star of the show. Yes. If that's not an existing image, it should be fly like an eagle, yeah. Rather than fly like eagle. Well spotted, Raquel. Have a biscuit. Oh, I'd love a biscuit. I want one of those protein bars. I got a problem now. Oh, Poppy's not back from work for ages. I'm cooking dinner, but I can't cook it until she comes back. That's a damn problem. Thank you. You're welcome. Enjoy your virtual biscuit. Oh, fantastic. Right. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this. I did. It's been a while since we've done one of these. I just read Fly Like an Egg. Yeah, fly like an egg. Why not? Eggs can fly. They just need a little bit more time. So they kind of, hatch and get the old wingage on the go. If anyone, here we go. If anyone would like to learn, where is it? Photoshop or Illustrator with me, I've got my full courses that will take you from a complete beginner through to using, honestly, the most advanced techniques that I use. So whether that's Photoshop you want to learn or Illustrator, if you want to be a graphic designer, learn both. It depends what type of design you're going to do if you wanted to learn one first, but ultimately I would learn them both because they kind of pair so well with each other. But oh yeah, the links dansky.com, link at the top of the chat. You get support from me as well. Like, it's not just like, oh, buy my course, see you later. Like, I'm there to support you as well. So when you get stuck, have problems, questions, want feedback on your work, I am on hand to help you, which you may or may not find useful. Hopefully you do. I was cheeky the other day. I was a bit naughty. So, we started doing the, what was it called? Not lions, tigers coming out of a camera lens. I went and finished it. I was a bit naughty. So this is where it started at the beginning of the stream. We finished the stream and I couldn't stop. I was like, I need to carry on with this. Dan's course has made me tolerate the brush. You love the brush tool now, Raquel. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Blah, blah, blah. I had to carry on with it. So this was like how long was the stream? 2 hours ish. So this is where we started with the raw concept of the camera in the desert thing and the tigers, and we did this. And this, if you haven't seen the stream, I would definitely recommend watching it. This is probably like the most fundamental thing. So we're balancing the exposure, the color, and we're just not compositing. We're constructing the scene with the different images. And it did take a good couple hours just to get to that point. But because we haven't rushed the foundation, it then set this whole thing up to succeed. And this is where it ended up. So different. I mean, I've got to be honest, I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. So raw images, and then there's the finished thing. It turned out all right. Wasn't I love the alt key. Yeah. I can't remember ever doing anything with a tiger before. I mean, none of it makes sense. It's coming out of a camera, but in the middle of the desert. But yeah, it turned out all right. The eyes and the nose made the biggest difference. Changing the color of you can see them here. Brightening them up made such a massive difference. And then going around and doing all the fur on the tiger with the smudge tool. So if you end up ever doing fur, Kerry, or like anything like that, just use the smudge tool and you can smudge out the hard edge and then turn it into cheeky fake fur. And then like brushes with the sand coming up for impact, and then adding some water splashy wave things. Yeah, this one came together quite nicely, actually. But I did record. I recorded the whole process. So I'm going to try and edit that together into a video, just kind of going through the process and the fundamentals. But yeah, sorry, I couldn't help myself. I had to carry on with that. I need to do another one now though, because it's just too flipping fun. Kerry loves the alt and fire and red shoes. Don't forget about his red trainers. I want to see your Star Wars thing, Kerry. I want to see it finished, dude. I want to see it. Get back to work, boy. I still think the Tiger is huge in comparison to the... Oh, none of it makes sense. Yeah, the whole thing's nonsense, Racco. Like, ignoring the giant camera coming out the lake. Yeah, no, the scale is intentionally nonsensical. The only scale that is intended to make sense is that of the tiger and the cub. Poppy said the cub's too small, but I told her to take her feedback and run along. That'll show her. Yeah, no, it's total nonsense. But it's fun nonsense. And I didn't. Yeah, the last stream, I didn't know what I was even going to do on the last stream till about 10 minutes before, and I was thinking, oh, cameras, deserts, but then I still wasn't sure, so I thought, sod it, we're just going to go live and try and like throw things together. Like, I really didn't have any idea what direction. That's why it took like a whole 2 hours just to get to this point. It was actually like just making sure the concept actually worked, because there's no point doing it all the work like this with a concept that just is a bit rough around the edges or that isn't going to work. So it's worth spending the extra time just getting it looking, getting the concept in place, because otherwise you're just going to spend the next 6 hours retouching something that will look not great. Poppy's right. Yeah, you would say that, Andrea. I love nonsense. Yes, the waterfall idea was very good. There were some great ideas. There were. But then someone shouted out tiger, and it was like, oh, tiger, that could be fun. But maybe we'll do the waterfall next time. I enjoyed this. I'm trying to think of the next one to do now. Just combine impossible objects together. Yeah, it's good practice in Photoshop as well. It's all practice. That's what it is. Right, I'm gonna try and forage some food from somewhere and try not to watch the clock, waiting for Poppy to come home so we can have dinner. We've got the last episode of Night of the Seven Kingdoms, which is so fun. We need a competition. Oh yeah, we did Monster Ski. That was the last one, wasn't it? Oh, we talked about doing the isometric room competition, didn't we? Yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen them. We talked about, I think, doing something. Was this the last one? Doing something like this? So we've got a Resident Evil themed one and a Darth Maul Star Wars themed one. These little isometric rooms. I'm pretty sure that's what we talked about. Yeah, I think that's not actually from me. The colorization around the water, that is actually from the photo, weirdly enough. Yeah, so I might have to go in and fix that. I don't know where that came from. But yeah, you're not wrong. It does look a bit odd. I'm watching that later. Oh, which one? These ones? The ISO rooms. Yeah, these are fun. That was it. Yes, yes. Sorry, Micro World. Well, I call them Micro World, but they ended up being more micro room. Maybe we actually do a micro world next time and not a micro room. But this was fun because A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. What episode are you on, Paul? Yeah, because this was just basically taking that sort of photo manipulation skill set and trying to apply it to this isometric perspective. So the same skills transfer over. You've obviously just got to be mindful of your angles and perspective and all that stuff. Yes, 6. Oh shit. Yeah, we're on 6 as well. Yeah, we did 1 to 5 all in one go last night. It's about 2.5, 3 hours it took us. Flipping heck. Episode 5 was pretty realistic and gritty and brutal, right? And the way it ended as well at the end, I was like, oh no. Yeah, no spoilers, obviously. I won't spoil anything. But it's very good. It's different to like Game of Thrones or House of the Dragon. Didn't tend to watch it. Yeah, it was really good. I put off watching it because I was just like, do I really care? But it's more of like it feels a bit less like, oh, here's all the houses and they're all warring, and it actually tells like a more personal tale. And I think they're doing a season 2 as well. I think. Yeah, it is. It's very easy to follow. Um, there's only two main characters. Yeah, it's called Night of the Seven Kingdoms. So it's set in the world of Game of Thrones, but it's 100 years before Game of Thrones, and it's I think is it like 100 or 200 years after House of the Dragon? So it's sandwiched right between the two shows. It starts off. I feel like it starts off quite slow. It's sort of, but it's one of those things that it builds, and as you start to get to know the character a bit more, it builds. And I mean, I don't know what the final episode of this season tonight is, but it really built up to sort of episode 4 or 5, and yeah, oh. Yeah, no, it's good. And then we've got Resident. Actually, seeing as we've got Requiem on screen, that comes out on Friday. Flippin' heck, can't wait to play that. What about you, Kerry? You gonna play a bit of Resident Evil? Anyone play Resident Evil here, or is it just me? 100% going to be playing Requiem. It looks freaky though, so but it's gonna be fun. I cannot wait. Oh yeah. How far have you got in Hollow Knight now? Who are you fighting before? You were on a boss, Raquel. Was it the Silk Song boss? I don't know the character's name. Silk Song character. What's her name? Or is her name Hornet? That was it. Yeah, you were raging over Hornet, weren't you? So did you beat Hornet now? I mean, I think you're probably further than I got in it actually. I need to play it again. Leo was yeah, Hornet. Leo was talking about it the other day because it's sort of like a game that I love. One of my favorite games of all time was Dark Souls, or is Dark Souls, and it's that very sort of obtuse storytelling. Doesn't really give a lot away. Doesn't hold your hand. Things happen and change. It doesn't really explain things. It just is, and you have to just go through the world and figure stuff out. And it sort of captured that same sort of storytelling in that 2D platformer style, and Leo would like something like that as well. I haven't played it since the PlayStation 1. Oh my goodness. God, that's 1996, Paul, that is. Oh yeah, that's going. Oh, feeling all nostalgic now. Yeah, that was RE1, and now it's RE9. Now I'm raging against a fat one down in the sewers. Yeah, you've definitely got further than I ever did. I need to give it another go, I think. Too many games to play and not enough time. Oh, right. I'm gonna go and find something that I can stick in my mouth and eat and annoy the children. We are still going. Yes, we are for about another 20 seconds. It's hard but addictive. Yeah, I feel like those types of games, the bosses where you have like you hit a brick wall almost, and then it's just like, okay, die, repeat, die, repeat, die, repeat. I feel like on some level that's like a test of your character, your like mental fortitude. How many times are you gonna die to this boss? And the thing with that, like games that yeah, there's something amazing about those games because so many games nowadays are just so easy. They're so like easy and just more aimed at like a wider casual audience. But with those games, when you finally actually take down the boss or he's got like a smidge of health and so have you and you get that last hit. Oh my god, the elation is like, yes! That feeling, that rush of I absolutely fucking did it. You just can't beat it. You can't. It just feels like earned. Lots of dying. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Oh, good times. Right, I feel like I need to go and play something now. Or is Ori quite difficult? I feel like I remember when I played Ori, I got confused where to go. It was like, what? Okay, where do I go? What do I do? It was a bit unclear. Sordigo. Final boss was crazy difficult for me as a kid. I feel like back in the day, games used to be so much harder. Like, you remember like original Mario's or like Sonic the Hedgehog games? It was like, oh yeah, you have to get through the entire game with just 3 lives. It's like, what? Yeah, no saves. You get to the 6th world and you die. Back to the beginning you go. Whereas these days it's like, oh, you got a checkpoint 5 seconds later. You got another checkpoint, don't worry. They're they're brutal, the old games. Oh really? For what, for like Nintendo? Did you ever play a game called Simon's Quest? Yeah, platformer games are cool. I've never played Doom. I've never got into Doom. Even the modern ones. I'm sure they're great and they're fun and everything, but it's just something that's never really grabbed me. Oh, what, Raquel? You played Simon's Quest, where you go around and you have the whips, the different whips, and I got stuck on that as a kid. I didn't know where to go. I went all the way to the left of the map and it was just a wall. All the way to the right and it was like the ferryman, but there was no ferryman. I didn't know where to go. SNES, Game Boy, most models. Game Gear. Oh, that was that that handheld? I need to look this up. The Game Gear. That sounds familiar. Oh wow, I forgot about that. Yeah, because you had Mega Drive 1, which I didn't have, but then you had Mega Drive 2, and I got one of those. Oh my god, a Game Gear. Flipping heck. Oh. Oh, Golden on the N64. Flipping brilliant. Perfect Dark as well. That was fun. Oh, come on. Okay, right. Okay. Has anyone played a game called Pushover on the I can't remember if it's the Commodore or the Amiga. I forget. Is it Amiga? The Commodore 64. Hang on. Oh my god, this game. Has anyone played this? You had Colin and he lost his quavers. We used to play this at my gran and granddad's. It's like a puzzle game, and you've got to push the dominoes down, but different dominoes do different things. And then you play as an ant, and you have to help Colin get his quavers back. Oh my goodness, the music. Yeah, and you have. And different dominoes do different things. Never heard of it. You played this, Raquel? Yeah. This is back before you could save games. And I always remember my dad wrote down on like a few sheets of A4. Every level had a code. So when you had to like remember the code of the level you got to. So he wrote down loads and loads of codes, one for every level. There's like 100 levels or something. And oh yeah, that is a proper journey down memory lane. Oh dear. Right, I gotta go. This has been amazing as always. I hope you have a fantastic, fantastic evening, and yeah, we'll catch up later in the week. Hi, Gaurav. Bye, Gaurav. Catch you later, guys. Bye.